Welcome back to the Sick Boys Podcast. I'm your host, JD Denham, and my buddy looking across the way, all pepped up and ready to rock tonight. Tell me, Justin, I'm going to throw a curve at you. What was the last band you listened to?
Today?
Yep. Last band. No
What I
lie.
listened to what I listened to training. What did I listen to training today? Oh my gosh. I listened to a whole lot. Oh, Currents. I listened to Currents training today. Metal band.
You're throwing some metal down, huh?
Yeah. I did like an accessory shoulder day, a lot of rear delts and stuff, and
All right.
I just wanted to, even though I wasn't training too, I was always train heavy, but yeah, Currents just felt like the right move for today. How about you?
Setting it up. Dude, I was in a little bit of a Gorilla Biscuits mood this morning.
Oh,
I
fuck
don't
yeah.
even know why that's happened. I've been in the Gorilla Biscuits mood more often than because it had been a long time, and they're a great freaking band, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Start today is
You got a
still
big mouth. Put a bow.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I love that
Start
stuff.
start today is like an anthem for me.
Start today is amazing. Oh, dude, it's good, man. Uh, Well, it's good to see you, brother. I get to see you tomorrow in person, so that's gonna be cool, man. How has it been being away from Live Alpha and just the crew? Because I was lifting with Ray the other day, not lifting with him, but it was just me and him. And he's like, "Where the hell's Justin been?" I said, "Bro, he's getting hitched. He's getting hitched, and he's moving, and like that. She's just like moving up in the world, man."
Well, yeah. Before we go anywhere with all of that, happy birthday!
Thanks, bro. I love it.
15 years, dude.
Yeah, yeah. It was 15 years. I don't know. Like when you get to your birthday and like kind of do that, you always, whether it's conscious or not, conscious or not, you reflect. You reflect on like where the hell you have been, and one of the things I spoke on that night when I took my chip was 15 years ago, I was walking into a sober living, and all I had to my name was a laundry basket of clothes that I had just watched my dad's because I kicked heroin at his house for 7 days. And I was walking into a sober living with laundry basket, and that was everything I had tangible to my name. And I said, so, I always speak to the newcomers because that's the important people. Said, dude, like, build your life back up from nothing, man, because that's so powerful, dude. Like, you don't get any handouts. If you don't ask for help, you just finally start doing it yourself, right? The God, the universe, whatever you choose to call it, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing anyway. It's going to bless you, dude. When you start taking the bull by the horn and do things yourself and start figuring things out yourself, and the universe blesses you, man. So, yeah, so that's it, man. I built my life from nothing. It's been great. 15 years, baby. 15 years.
So good.
Right? We come a long way, man.
I think for anybody that's listening to this and thinking like, "Oh my God, 15 years is so long." You know what? And for me, I don't have near the time that you do, but I have some time, and I've accomplished quite a bit in my time. But you and I are kind of in a similar trajectory. But for somebody to look at like 15 years and be like, "Oh my God, like that's so far away." Um, what and this is a question for you, and I'm not trying to interview you on this, but because it is, this is fresh and this is your birthday, and 15
Yeah.
years is a milestone.
Yeah.
um what would you, and maybe the answer is don't even try, but what would you have done differently to speed up your process in terms of success, achieving things, so on and so forth? Do you
Great
think there
question.
were
I like it.
holes? Do you think there were holes along the way? And I can tell you that there were for me, right? And there were certain things that I didn't correct, right? Like, yeah, I got sober, right? But like, what areas do you think that you could have avoided for somebody who's like fuck, like, JD has built a monument of a life, but 15 years, like, like I can hardly consider like 15 hours or 15 days or 15 weeks. What are some things that you would say if you were to say to JD year 2 of sobriety, bro, watch out for this,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what would be the main things?
Yeah. I love that question. It's a great question. Well, there's two different forms to answer that because first and foremost, I believe that, I say it all the time, but I truly mean it, is God knows what he's doing and timing's perfect. Um, because I had to really I like the way I look at it is specifically when in my heroin addiction, like you're weak, poor me, all this stupid stuff that we all say. God is molding you like clay. You think you're weak, you're never going to change, and he's molding you like clay. He's building you up. He's building you up. Then I get sober. I'm formed, right? And the more work I do, I'm starting to pour bronze on me. So I don't know your exact story in regards to the journey on every part because we've talked about it a lot, but like I've been through some shit, man. So that like words don't phase me. Things like that don't phase me. Like I'm pretty hardened when it comes to that. So even like guys like us that like throw our lives out on social media, like we've tapped on it a little bit. Throw words at me, dude. That don't hurt. I've been through some shit, bro. Like that's all you got. So it's the timing is really impeccable because the first year and a half it was fixing my drug addiction and alcoholism. And in that year and a half time, I was womanizing like crazy. And I didn't have a problem with it. Like it was more like, hey man, if you don't have a problem with it and I don't have a problem with it, you want to come over. And I didn't have a problem with it until I had really kind of conquered the drug and alcohol addiction part and was doing okay and was ahead of the curve. And then, God threw some curves at me and really started to help me see like deeper problems, which were why do I always have to have a woman next to me, but I won't let her get close? Like, that was great. Let me walk you to the door. Right. And I don't have a problem with that because I'm fine with it, but I was hurting them. And I'm trying to be a man of integrity and then I finally caught up to the fact, well, I'm hurting these girls. Like, I don't have a problem with sleeping with whoever, but they are getting hurt. So I finally caught up to that. And so then around the 18-month mark, it was time to fix that part, which was I swore off women for almost a year, probably like 9 months. I didn't talk to them. I took time really, really, really doing deep, deep healing of me, finding out why I couldn't be alone. Why did I have to have a woman there but not let her get close? And that part is priceless. There was no rush in it. It was the timing of that had to be, perfect because once I paid the dues or the tab, so to speak, of that, that's when I met Alyssa. God blessed me with the woman of my dreams. Like, and you've seen us together. We are madly freaking in love and we've been together for like 13 years now. But I wouldn't have met her to the degree and like how the relationship with her if I didn't do the deep healing part. And that part took time. So within that time of meeting her and doing the deep healing, maybe, a little past 2 years, but I couldn't have talked to myself even at 15 years telling my 2-year sobriety self because I hadn't paid the tab enough. I hadn't put enough integrity logs in the fire to be able to burn without me continuing to put logs in the fire. Now, 15 years later, I've woken up at the same time for so freaking long, right? And done my disciplines for so freaking long. They're not disciplines, they're habitual.
Mhm.
Like we've talked about that where it's not discipline anymore. It comes easy to me. Like I don't miss the gym ever. You don't miss the gym ever, right? Like
Mhm.
these things I've embedded and they've formed now habits. So that takes time and it takes a lot of time, to form that stuff. So that's the main thing. Timing's everything, and the timing was impeccable because that was God's time. The one thing though, if I could go back would be, the conversation that I had with Mark Moss maybe like 5 years ago or whenever the hell that was, where he lit that entrepreneur spirit within me that I didn't think I had. I had no desire to do the things that I'm doing now. And no desire to be on a podcast, no desire to open up different companies, none. I
Did
would
you
make
even know though that that was a possibility, or was it a lack of desire or a lack of awareness?
I was looking for simplicity. I love
Mm.
simplicity. My life, I had continued to sculpt it. And through the mortgage industry where I found success was I separated from the pack by being creative. You know,
Mhm.
I, we've talked about it I would drive home every night. How do I get better? How do I get better? And I would literally physically think through how can I be different? And then like everybody was calling brand new leads. They're paying all this money on brand new leads. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to go. Everybody's trying to get in the front door of these new leads. So I'm going to go to the back door. I'm going to call 3 months back and I'm going to go to the back door because nobody cares about those leads anymore. So I started doing well on those. And then finally I go to the branch manager at the time and I said, because I was doing well on those old leads, I go to him and I say, hey, listen, man, we take applications every day, right? We take full apps and they don't go anywhere. They're sitting in our data, right? Give me, go back 3 months and give me like an Excel worksheet on all like applications with social security, full apps. Let me call through them and try to bring them back to life. And he's like, dude, bro, we give you brand new leads. We pay a lot of money for brand new leads. Why would you want to do that? And I said, listen, man, humor me. Give me a shot. So he did. He sends me an Excel of all these like old applications that didn't go anywhere. And I called through them and I freaking crushed it, bro. Like next level freaking crushed it to where like corporate caught wind. What's this guy doing? So what the point of that was this, with long story short, I cultivated a retention department that did so well that the entire company, 50 branches, mimicked what I was doing,
Hmm.
right? I separated from the pack. How? I just thought through shit. I just thought through shit. We've talked about it so many times, and I know you're the same. Thinking is such hard business that if it were easy, everybody would do it. I just used my brain. I'm pretty damn
Hmm.
good at sales. That part is, I do have talent with that, but there's a lot of good guys that are good at sales. I separated by just using my freaking brain, right? So,
Hmm.
all that being said, to answer your question, I did separate myself and I was content because I was doing really well, exceedingly well from even like, because, I did well. They mimicked it. They paid me well. So I was content with staying here. So did I want to open up a company? Why would I want to like have all that pressure and this and that? So I didn't really have the desire to elevate to the degree of owning my own company. To answer your question, no. I was capable, but no, at that time, until
That's
that conversation with Mark that lit my fire.
I love that. Because I mean, and that's it's wild because and maybe I'm just looking at the differences there because like for me it was like the minute I got sober, I went back to what I was doing in terms of a career, and it was like, and I had everything that I wanted, and was back to like making the money that close to the money that I did before I went into treatment, and had the position, had the power, had the parking spot, all of it, but it was right away for me it was like there's got to be more, um and I don't know, it's funny because like I was never aware of the opportunity, but I
What's out
think
there?
yeah, like entrepreneur, because I was always a process guy, like tell me exactly what to do, and I'll do it
I'll
to my
kick
best
ass at it.
ability, and yeah, and work hard and all of that
Yeah.
stuff, but there was like this like hankering or this like nagging feeling that was like, I didn't get jacked, I didn't get sober, I didn't go through all the shit that I went through to do the same thing that I'm always doing. And maybe it's because I
Wait,
already
can I
had
stop
that.
you there? Because I think I know what that is. Because I know what you're talking about. Because I do know. I felt that too.
Did you?
You were doing good because you're great at sales, you're articulate, you're charming. You're going to do well at whatever you do. Okay. Let's just be honest. Like, I'm not trying to float your boat, but that's who you are. You're going to succeed because you're a hard worker and you're charming. Right. Right. So you're making enough money and you're here, but you're kind of like a boat wake, not living up to your full potential. So it kind of leads you away from this, which is God's will. God's will for you, which is your best of you. You're not living up to your best of you. Now you're doing fine. You're staying on the boat wake. You're surfing, but you're not ripping. And what I mean by that is, so when you're not in line with God's exact will for you, which is being the best version of you, right? Doing more,
Hmm.
trying more, becoming more, pushing other people to do more, and like lighting fires in other people because that's who you are. You're here. So when you're here, you're fine. but over here is some discontentment. Over here is some, why am I a little bit anxious? Like, why am I not thinking right? Right? Why am right? But when you get in line with God's will, which we have both done, it's I know know I love this word, but it's liberation, man. It's like
Yeah.
peace, contentment.
Yeah.
It's like a fire that burns where like, dude, for the last 5 years, I've had this fire in my soul to do more. Like I can't even contain it. You know, you and I talk all the time. I'm going 15 million miles. I want to do all this crazy shit. Why? Because we can.
Hmm.
We're capable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have an obsession and a commitment level that nobody else does. Let me tell you something that just came to mind, and I want to know if you can kind of relate to this. But I was in a position of authority, and I trained, right. Like I sat with sales guys and trained them, taught them processes, and I was in charge of like their deal structures and everything that went on inside of the showroom. Um, Maybe one or two actually wanted to grow, but and none of them wanted to grow as individuals, right? They want, like, maybe one or two of them wanted to grow as, like, salesmen, and when you're a salesman, and whether you're in the mortgage industry or ever, you basically have your own business, but none of them wanted to grow personally. So here I am pouring into people that didn't want to grow, and in my head, I'm like, "I'm a leader, I'm better than this." Like, I'm not better than them, but
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was like, I want to lead people who want to grow, and these people don't want to grow. And historically, and being in the auto industry, I've also been that guy that just wanted to be good at my job, make my money, and get the fuck out and do my thing.
We're 9 to 5 and be
So
done, so to
so
speak.
yeah, so I was looking for the mirror of me that could learn from me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think that feeling of I don't want to do the same thing forever. It was more about who was around me that wanted to grow with me. And I didn't see that happening, stuck in in the same routine that I was doing. Even though when it comes to like discipline, integrity, and all of those things, I was performing, uh, maybe not as, definitely not as disciplined as I am right now, but I was still, handling meal prep, doing my, training every day, reading, going to my meetings, doing all the things right. It was like, I don't know that me exhausting my effort into people who didn't want to grow would have allowed me to grow. And I
Yeah.
think I knew that, and it was subconscious, but I never really thought about it until now, where it was like that, because that's the story I told myself. The story I told myself was that I didn't get jacked, I didn't get sober to do the same thing that I always did. But I think the true meaning behind it was I didn't want to do the same thing that I did because I had nobody to grow with.
Yeah. Iron sharpens iron. Yeah, so that's interesting that you say that. So, one of the things that when I was starting to work for Mark, which ultimately led me here in that relationship and just his fire lighting my fire on fire of entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. So I was signing people up for his programs. Like he would have huge mastermind groups. He would have different things where people would pay him 20 grand for a few months and he would kind of show them how to build a business. Like that's was his protocol. And like, he and I got really close. And one of the things that this is making me think of that I would have conversations with him, he's like, just, I can't do it. Cause he would be, sometimes I would feel like he was kind of being a dick and not like present. And so I became close enough to him where I could call him on it. And I said, well, listen, dude, I think that you need to engage a little bit more. And he said, you don't understand. I know they're not going to do the things I'm helping them do. And it's really hard because there's no wind in my sail. Meaning, they paid all this money and then he's trying to help them build these things and none of them are doing the things that he's trying to help them do. So on the
Right.
flip side of that, and he said it took the wind out of his sail and he's like, freaking hate it. I don't want to do it anymore. He wanted to kind of pull the plug on the program, blah, blah, blah. So this conversation truly happened. So the difference though was I signed them up. I was the salesman that signed these people up, but I got to attend these programs for free because I signed them up, which I did. And I wrote down notes and notes and notes and notes and notes. I was gorging myself on this information, and without a doubt, I was being a student of a man that is extremely wealthy and
Mhm.
extremely wise. And that type of stuff lit the fire that's in me. So to answer your question, I don't know. There's not going to be that many, but there's going to be some outliers that will. So is that enough? I don't know. It wasn't for him.
Well, I think that that determines that's so that was kind of our what we were talking about our topic before, which is like the man that you become to become a leader, and the man that you need to become to retain the leadership and all of that. To that point with Mark and his burnout, and that happens to a lot of coaches, right? Where it's like I can't lead people who don't want to be led. I can't
Most
coach
don't.
people that won't perform, right? And even listening to even the through our listeners, and we love you to death. I'm not trying to dog anybody, but only 1% of people are going to take the words that we're saying and in our coaching and our podcasts and everything and actually put them to use. Only 1% of people are going to buy peptides from your company and actually follow the protocol, eat properly and whatever, right?
Right.
Like most
There's no
people aren't
magic.
going right. Most people are not going to have the discipline, the integrity, and all of the things to actually perform and get the results that we want for them. And we probably, in most cases, and it's and I wouldn't even say in most cases, I'd say in almost all cases, we probably want the success and the results from them more than they do. And I would tell you that that's true because we're still fucking doing it and they're quitting and causing and creating excuses and they're sitting in doubt and they're sitting in their thoughts and they're sitting in all the things meanwhile we're showing up and so it's very hard and it is I can see where Mark would get would get down on it and feel like he had the wind taken out of his sails and things like that because it's the facts. We could speak to 1,000 people and only a few people are going to take exactly what we tell them and actually put it to work. The rest of them are going to collect information, right? They're going to collect advice. They're going to feel inspired for maybe a day or two.
Yeah.
And then
New
their favorite
Year's
shows
Eve,
on.
every
Yeah.
like, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so let me, so there's a back side of that story. So, he ironically was going to come in today, and see the place, bro. And, as you can imagine, I'm his little protege, like he's extremely, extremely proud of me. And,
Hmm.
you know, um, so I had a conversation. I went down to San Diego with him recently, and so I had literally about 12 hours with him just talking about different things and stuff. It was amazing, and I told him, I said, Mark, I don't know if you remember this, but I brought up this conversation. I said, you said your fire was burning out because people don't listen, but I said, listen, bro, someone did. Like you lit a fire in my soul that like I can't even contain it, dude. Like I'm not even close to like my wings have not even spread yet. They're just kind of coming out. Like I'm ready to freaking just do some shit, man. So I don't know when it becomes worth it or not, but it should be worth it if you save one man from basically like the monotony and the mediocrity of just not knocking a cubicle, but going to a cubicle and settling. Know what I mean? Oh, um, but in regards to what you were saying, how do you become a leader? How do you become a leader? How do you become a
So,
leader? Like if you're not a leader, because there's a lot of people that are going to say that they're not a leader. How do you become that?
well, first of all, do you want to become one? And Cody was just on the 44 Core Plus call, and he just laid it all out on, and like in the most articulate, profound way possible. But it is
About becoming a
congruency.
leader?
Yeah, yeah, it is congruency. Right? It is becoming the man that can first of all lead themselves, right? And become the man who can control being a leader and be consistent and be disciplined and carry that integrity and all of it. So it's congruency. And I think again, if people want to be a leader, they have to accept the fact that they need to become the person that can sustain that level of leadership because otherwise you're always going to have the fear of success, the fear of failure, the fear that you're going to lose everything, blah 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 blah, and that's always going to stifle your growth, right? So it is congruency. We were talking about this before, like the concept of integrity is so easy to us, one, because we live a very routine, boring life, and by all the sense of it, compared to the way we used to live. And because we've seen the outcome of congruency, we've seen the outcome of integrity, we've seen the outcome of discipline, routine, and all of those things. And I think some people, once again, going back to what we talked about on the last episode, some people need to see it to believe it, and they don't realize that that's not how it fucking works. It's not a see it to believe it. It's you have to believe it to see it. And you need to believe that if you do the same positive habits, the same disciplines every single day, that you will see the result. And even and that's and even though it might be, maybe it won't be in the first week, maybe it won't be in the first year, maybe it won't be in the first 5 years, but you have to believe that that if you stack enough of those days, months, years, that you will end up seeing it.
Well, let's shift it for a second. Let's shift it for a second and let's not make it about the man listening. Okay. Let's go a little deeper. So let's look at it from a different perspective. So, like, you think you got to fix you and you got to become a leader. Why don't you think about the 15 people that you can affect when you are a leader? If you don't want to make it about you and you can't be that leader, why don't you think about the people that you could affect if you were a leader? I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I know you're going to have stories like this, but there's some that stick out that, like, whoa. So I got a DM from a couple guys about a week ago. They were coming into town from Minnesota. Loved the show. They found Peptide of the Week from just trying peptides. Loved it. Figured out I had two other podcasts. Now they listen to mine. They listen to ours. They loved it. They're just fans. And they just wanted to come in, take a picture with me, and maybe get a hat or something, right? And I'm like, oh, my first thing is like, man, I'm fucking busy, but what? Oh yeah, of course, man, come in. And I didn't think that much of it. They came in on Monday, and they're just rad freaking dudes, man. This one guy was like 400 pounds, and I think he lost, like, I don't even remember what it was, like almost 200 pounds. But the point was, we had great conversation. We hug, how, like, we come in, they hug. Like, I gave him a hat, gave him some shirts. We just had a good correlation, man. It was freaking rad. They left. I'm like, that was freaking cool, dude. But that's not the end of the story. That's not even the best part. Like, later on, he made a post and tagged me, and he said, I got to tell you how freaking refreshing it is to see somebody online and finally meet them, and they are like better than what you see online. He was so nice. He was so welcoming. He was so friendly. He talked about God all the time. I didn't ask him to say that. He just posted that. I was just like, whoa, bro, like that moved my soul. I can't even explain it. So then it goes a little bit further. He did a video for me, and he said, I truly wanted, from the bottom of my heart, wanted to tell you that you talk about God, like, you never know somebody's real if they're. He's like, I am so grateful that, like, to meet you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. It was authentic. It was real. He meant it. And dude, bro, just like Mark lit my soul. Like, like, we move people, man. So, like, that point of that story is not to talk about me and how amazing I am. If you can't get past the leadership role, guys listening to this, for you, think about the people that you can affect then. Having the ability to touch a man's, men, plural, or women lives, it's freaking priceless. Bank accounts, cars, those things are rad. We all want them. Contentment, peace of mind, lighting a fire in someone else's soul, priceless. It's freaking priceless, man.
Yep.
Chips are done, man. Priceless. So
That's
why don't
when
you do
that's
that?
just Well, that's just it, because and it's an acceptance that, like, what we have is not ours to keep, right? The experiences, the stories that we've lived, the things we've overcome, the lessons that we learned are not like ours to, like, hold on to and like fucking Schmiegel and Lord of the Rings, like my precious. Like, no, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. You
You want
have to give it
peace,
up.
you want contentment, you want a good life, like, truly, like, contentment, and feel
Serve.
like the guy in the mirror. Like, I used to never be able to sit with myself, man. I used to be playing the guitar, doing something, because I couldn't sit there with me. You wanna know what one of the best things of my day is? When I'm sitting outside in the morning with me. With me, it's my best part of my day. For an hour, I don't talk to anybody, I don't look at my phone, I spend time with me. I read books, the Bible, and it's out there with me and God, and it's literally the best part of my day because the world hasn't affected me yet, dude. And like that only comes with like living with integrity because you can't live with yourself if you're not living with integrity. Like it's your
Oh
subconscious
yeah.
is shaking up. If you're lying and cheating and talking to other girls, and your subconscious don't let you like have peace, bro. It just doesn't. Why do you
No,
drink? Why do
100%.
you can you not sleep? Why do you you know what I mean? Like your soul's shaken up when you're not living right. Period.
Right. Well, you're filling that void. And I agree with you. Like that time that I like, my morning, like my morning routine is like it's something that's so sacred to me, something that saved my life, something that built my life, right? And I talk about it all the time because it is. But that
But
time that I put my headphones in, that I do my protocol, that I do my sourdough toast. I know you're off the sourdough toast now; it's a huge mistake. But
I was talking to Ray about that today, actually. No shit.
It's yeah, it's funny. No, I'm just playing with you, but like that whole like it's like it seems like such little things, but
No,
the peace that it gives me,
no.
and I have a whole process. I have a process all the way down to what order I take my stack in. Like I have like I set everything out the same exact way every single morning, right? Like I do everything. Which order do I put my pre-workout together with my creatine, and then I do my intro right after that in a different bottle.
I
I
get it,
have the
bro.
bottles clean, set up, like, and I do it the same exact way
I
every
get
single
it.
time because there's like there's peace in the process.
There's
And
peace and
by the way,
structure. We need structure,
what?
man. Like when life is not structure. Like, dude, if I go home and like my place at my house is my office. Like it's downstairs. It's like my man cave, so to speak. But if my office is out of like shit's everywhere, disheveled, I can't focus, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to keep
Yeah,
we need structure. You can't have a
totally,
messy
totally.
life and a messy head. If you're texting a girl and it's harmless because you're just texting a girl and you're married, you're doing it wrong, man. Like that won't yield peace, bro. They won't
Well, you
yield
shouldn't
contentment.
want to. You know what I and that's just it. Like the anything extra, right? Any of the instant gratification, whether it's in your like in integrity in your
With
relationship or stepping
Doritos.
out even a float or and even just a flirt, like any of that stuff, like like you shouldn't want to even like that shouldn't be something that you're interested in. Like it's funny because it's like I hear like in the church, they talk about like warding your eyes or like running from temptation and stuff like that. Like what do you really when you're living a life that you enjoy your process, you enjoy your routine, in other words locked in, like those things don't come. Anytime that I
You're
wasn't
talking about
locked
blessings?
in,
What do you mean? What doesn't come?
the oh no, temptation.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like when you because there's no room for it. Right? There's no room for it. There's no room to like step out of line when you're so in love with the process.
Well, let
And
me let
and
me articulate it in a different way. So I don't know if I've ever done this formed for you, but this is what I tell a lot of my sponsors, and it doesn't matter if this is sobriety or anything. When you are living life with integrity, and I call it paying the tab. I call it paying the tab or earning the sunrise. Same shit, right? I get up before the sun comes up because I earn the sunrise. And how do I do that? I pay my tab. I spend time with me in the word of God because that's what I believe in and with me and God, right? So when I continue to do that, when I help people, which you and I talk about all the time, without any type of thing expecting anything back, I help them because they've asked for help and someone helped me along the way. God watches and he goes like this. This is us. See this? He's blocking the temptations, right? Now, when a pretty girl flirts with you, if that's your problem, they bounce off his hands. They don't penetrate your mind because you're paying your tab. You're being a man of integrity. You're doing a
mm,
lot of things you don't want to do. But so then God goes like this. It's in a sense buying his security, so to speak. I don't know if that's the best way to say it. But when you start cutting corners, you just sit one. You just sit one text. It's just a text. That's it. Oh, it's just a couple texts. Like I didn't ask for any nude pictures. And then fine guys, listen, man. Like I love you. You're on your own, dude. So those temptations now they penetrate you, and then all of a sudden you're sleeping with some chick. How the hell did that happen? Well, you stop being a man of integrity and God said, "I love you, dude, but like you're on your own now." Like I'm not able to do it on my own. I'm telling you, I'm attracted to the dark side. I'm attracted to fast women, fast drugs, and fast music, dude, from day one. So if I don't Pay my tab, bro. I can't. I'm not strong enough, dude. I'm just not.
Well, yeah, what is Holy Bible? He only left you basic instructions before leaving Earth.
That's it, man.
Like
Ephesians right here, bro. I don't think you've been here since we have the Warriors prayer. My wife bought it for Christmas. It's the raddest thing ever. My wife is the best gift giver on the planet. But I have Ephesians, put on the full armor of God each day so that you can withstand the wiles of the devil. I have that tattooed there, and that says that within there. It's articulated a little bit different because it's worded in Bibles differently, but that's
well,
there.
even in screw, and it's funny because even in Screw Tape Letters, and I don't know if you've ever read C.S. Lewis's
I
book
love
Screw
him.
Tape Letters.
Great. I have never read that, but I love C.S. Lewis.
So
Amazing.
that's one of his, his most famous is Mere Christianity, and then one of his next ones is Screw Tape Letters, and it's about two demons that are writing, an uncle and a nephew that are writing to each other basically on how to fuck a dude's life up. And the subtleties, it's never like
In your
throw a
face.
naked woman, as yeah,
Yeah.
it's never like that. It's always these like little tiny things. And you see this stuff when you, if you believe in life, like you start to notice that you see, like, you don't realize how badly you have to protect it, because you see the little tiny things start to encroach, and you start to realize like how it can spin out of control so easily.
So
For
fast.
addicts, for addicts it's very drastic. For people who self-sabotage, it's always very drastic, and so on and so forth. But for people who are trying to get locked in and have every intention to get locked in, the fleeting thoughts, the fears, and any little thing can throw them off. But sometimes the most subtle thing is what completely like collapses you. So when you
Yeah, it
talk
doesn't
about
matter. It
protecting
doesn't
it.
matter if you are like us that are sober, where if we drink again, we're knocked on our ass, right? Let's use whatever the hell you struggle with. Every single person has a demon. Food, porn, it don't matter. Whatever your demon is, right? You're not going to be the leader that we speak of unless you start doing these little things, these little positive things that compound. You don't need to wake up at 4, do my routine. You don't need to do Justin's routine. You need to do your routine, whatever that is. You need to cultivate your routine on how you become a leader. Whatever the case is, you have to get to this. Okay? Because the man that stays locked in to God's hands over him can conquer whatever, because you're continuing to pay your tab every day. So, like, you and I, our faces all over the internet and stuff, right? Like, you're going to have girls flirt with you. I'm going to have girls flirt with me. If I don't live with integrity, I'm taken out, dude. And like, I have a freaking amazing relationship with my wife. Like, I didn't know these types of relationships could be that good. But here's why: because we don't freaking lie to each other, man. We're straight up with each other. We have an honest relationship. It's not perfect, but you know what I mean? Like, if you can like live with
Yeah.
integrity on both sides, you can have a freaking amazing relationship. I've been with her almost 15 years, man. And it still is just like when I first met her. But we both work on ourselves, man.
So Cody, it's funny that you say that, because tonight Cody was, he was doing his whole speech, and he goes, "You guys want to know why Justin is the most?" And I'm not trying to say this to toot my own horn, but it is what it is. He said, You want to know why Justin is the most confident man on the planet?" And nobody, obviously everybody's mics were muted, and he goes, Because you guys see him on these calls, you guys see him on social media, you guys see all of these things." He goes, I see Justin in person. When I first met him, I was like, dude, there's nobody that's more confident than that guy." And he said, "But here's what I've learned about him, and then here's what I saw 15 minutes before this call, because Cody's marrying Christina and I." So,
Right.
and so when him and I were prepping for the call, Christina came over briefly and sat on my lap, and we just kind of were talking. We were talking about just
Yeah,
random
getting right.
stuff. And then we started the call, and an hour into the call, he said, "The reason I know Justin is the most confident man on the planet is because of the way that his fiance looks at him. The way that there's a bond, there's a trust, and there's obviously because of the things like the integrity and all of that." And it's so funny that
For the
you just
yields.
said that. Like, it's like when you have that, when you've earned that,
It's
when
sexy as
you've
hell
earned.
for a woman,
Oh, totally, totally. And when you
dude.
have that, and you realize how precious it actually is, you want to go at all lengths to preserve it, And so what are the things that got you there in the first place? Was it it was most likely the discipline, it was most likely the routine, it was most likely the integrity, it was most likely you being you channel or managing your fear, and living a life of congruency. And so you get everything that you want, and you don't realize, because so many people get everything that they want and they're so afraid to lose it all, but they don't realize that the only way to keep it is to continue to do the things that
Keep growing, bro.
got you it in the first place.
Keep going, baby. You got to keep growing. I yeah, I love that, man. You just keep on growing, dude. Like if anybody's listening to this, because I'm pretty blunt on my channel. I do have a passion to kind of help men get back to being men of integrity and character and being godly men. It's one of my biggest passions on the JD Fit. You know, let people like the fasting and diet, all that shit, whatever. I get it. But like my calling, a part of my calling is to get men to do that. Meaning, like if you are having problems with your wife, if anybody's listening, and this might strike somebody's nerve, but you're having problems with your wife and she's not looking at you the way that she used to. Like she married you for a reason, dude. She could have chosen all these other guys. She chose you. But if you're coming home and you're popping a beer and you're sitting on the couch, I'm not talking about popping a beer, but if like that's your life and you have no drive and you're a dud, that's not freaking sexy, dude. Like if you're not a beast and bettering yourself and being a man of integrity and helping people when they need help, if you see someone and pull over on the side of the road and you're like changing a car, pull over and help him, not because of anything, because it's the right thing to do. If you do that and a woman sees that, it's sexy as shit, man. So if you're having problems with your marriage, try this. Become a better man. Become a
Yeah,
better man.
yeah.
Be a man of integrity, because you know
So
what's sexy? A man of integrity.
what you're talking about is polarity, right? Like, and so like, the boundaries around like how you treat yourself are going to determine a lot of the attraction from your significant other, right?
100%.
Like you have to have that polarity as a man. And when you are the dude that is that's just like, floating through his lifestyle outside of work, there's no polarity. You're just a pile of shit.
Being
And again,
sexy.
it doesn't seem like such a big deal because the rest of your homies are piles of shit, and that's exactly what they're doing. But
True that, bro.
but all of you guys are sitting
And your
in
wives are
a
sitting around bitching
miserable
about you guys
relationship.
being lops.
Yeah,
Trust me, they are.
yeah,
You know what I mean? If they
yeah.
love you, like
And
I
I
always
and
say,
I
look,
know
you
because
know your wife loves you, but like I tell you what, like she definitely sees a dude like in shape and has a shit together. I'm gonna tell you what, she definitely is attracted to that guy. And I'm not throwing that as a dagger as much as become that guy. Become a guy that freaking attracts women. And I'm not saying because you're trying to attract women, like be the sexy man, the beast. When you walk into the room, you don't have to be ripped and cut like Justin. We like to be like that. We're disciplined like that, but like you don't necessarily have to be like that, but you can. But you're
100%.
free if you become that man that takes to get a damn six pack, because you don't get a six pack without a disciplined diet. Ray and I were talking about that. I don't care steroids, all this other shit. You won't have a six pack unless you are a disciplined diet. That's 100% the truth. Don't matter how many steroids you think you can take. Don't work like that, dude. So if you work your ass off to get a six pack, let's just play this out for a second. You're going to become a better man because it takes discipline, integrity, consistency, blah, blah, all these things compounded. And if you become this other man, even if it's just chasing a six pack, but you become a better man to achieve it, your wife's going to be like, damn, he's working his ass off. That's fucking sexy.
Yep, yep. That's awesome. And
Bro.
I'll kind of end on this is like too, if you are this dude and you're thinking that your habits aren't as destructive as that we're saying them, I know for a fact they are. One, because I was once that man and it happened to me. And two, I coach women. So I hear how they talk about their men when they are that guy. And
No,
they come
right.
to me and they explain these things. And it's almost the same exact story. That horror story that you hear or the clickbait thing that you see on Facebook, those are written for a reason. Those stories are accurate. And those things, those feelings that she is feeling, is because of you. It's your fault. So if you're listening to this and that is you, understand that you cannot say poor me. You are making the conscious decision to push her out, and you're making the conscious decision to create the man that she doesn't want to fucking touch. But
And
I gotta
if
get
she
out of
leaves
here.
you, bro, and if she leaves you, you're going to get in shape because now you don't have a girl and now you're going to want to attract girls and then you will get in shape. Why wait? Do it now.
Yep.
I
And
love you, buddy.
some of these dudes are in their 40s, and the dating pool gets a
Oh,
lot
man. Oh.
smaller.
Oh, brother, I love talking to you, man. I love the conversations. I'm excited to see you tomorrow. You want to take us out?
Yeah, buddy. Hey, listen, guys, if you liked what you heard, make sure you click subscribe, shoot us likes, comments, all that good stuff. It helps us get our message out. And we'll catch you guys next time on the Six Boys podcast. We're fucking out.
Only love.